Team, as we all know, training around the country has been canceled.
Yeah. Hey, Trump won. Trump
Right?
won.
It's
over.
no big deal.
Hey,
high five.
We can relax.
Go back home.
We can relax.
No, that is not the right answer. Team, I'm super stoked to be here with Morgan with winterwarfare.com. Supplies all kinds of amazing gear for winter. You want to tell everybody a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, definitely. If you are somebody who likes to be more prepared, all I could simply tell you very quickly is winter is something you have to deal with in a tactical situation. I've been there. We sell the gear that you need. I would have that gear available if I was you. So check out our website, winterwarfare.com. Be more prepared, have that winter gear. I see it all the time. Guys got all the cool summer gear, but not the stuff if something happens in the cold.
Right, absolutely. So, you know, thinking about this idea, and we were talking about this earlier, you're kind of getting some ruminations that people are going to potentially become more lackadaisical in their preparations and their self-reliance and thinking that everything's okay, right?
Yeah. I would think that I think this is just a generalization. This may or may not be you, but it's just, again, this is just a conversation. It's just something to consider and think about. Being prepared is not over. Just because Trump won the election, things might seem golden, and let's not take away from you know, maybe the exciting feelings that we all have in this one moment. But I think there's a lot of things that could happen. Right. There's a lot of variables still in play. That could that could be things that guys have to contend with.
Absolutely. You know, and I you know, depending on, you know, where you lean on the spectrum, it's potentially even more of a dangerous time now, because everybody has this sense of, or most people have this sense of, most patriots have this sense of, well, everything's going to be okay for the next few years, when in the background there are still things working and going on that are impacting our lives, our economy, our infrastructure, our power. All of that stuff is still at risk of being attacked, right?
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, look at just the global landscape right now, from Eastern Europe to the Middle East, to issues that we still, very serious issues that we have here. And again, as Bill mentioned, depending on what your side is, keep in mind, there's a flip side to this too, right, in several years. Yeah. Right. And there could be momentum building up at this very moment from people who didn't like what happened. Right. Right here. In addition to serious variables going on around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So just something to bear in mind, team, no matter where you fit in this thing, the time is now to master your craft, right? We have to constantly keep pushing to improve our foxholes. You know, on that note, you know, we are coming into wintertime now. It's, it depends on where you're at. It's like full-fledged winter. Other places, you know, we're getting there, but it's coming. What's the number one risk you think that people are likely to encounter during winter training? During winter training?
Again, I'm just going to make just an observation, and I've been there too. This isn't just to the guy out there. I had to look at my area of operations in Idaho, and even right now we're in the Sierras, and this is some serious stuff here. People die here in the winter. This is no joke. All I would mention to guys is look at your area of operations. So let's think about some unsuspecting areas. For example, you live in Sacramento. You might think, okay, it's 60 right now, but just within 1 hour of you, it snows 170 inches. There's areas in the Appalachians, right, where Bill's at, right, that are no joke. There's areas in Texas, on you know, down by New Mexico, down by the Southern Rockies. I think the biggest thing that I would just look at is just making sure that you got even the most basic stuff, some base layers. You can get by pretty far with even level 1, level 2 base layers. Another, I think, just critical even is H2O gear, waterproof gear. Right. Because you can do a lot with that too. So we've talked about that on some of my videos before, where, you know, you could just take a tactical H2O jacket and put it over any store-bought jacket that you got, and now, you know, you're going to be doing pretty good in that. Yeah, is it perfect? No, but simple things like that even. Right.
Yeah, a lot of guys, maybe you've seen this or not, I know I've seen it, that a lot of people take for granted working in the winter. Well, you're dealing with the cold, but one of the number one risks that I've seen people go down for is actually hot weather injuries
Yeah.
in the middle of the
Okay.
winter time, right? Because
Yeah.
they're wearing the wrong gear.
Yeah.
They're wearing too much gear. It's not, you talking about, laying your gear and your equipment. I think that's critical. And of course, the time is now to take all this gear that you have, whatever it is, whether it's the Chi-Com gear, the H2O gear, or some good quality tactical gear, and get out and do some ruck marches, get out and do some training before you actually need it, right?
Yeah, so a couple thoughts. Yeah, so Bill did make a video on that, and that's a great point, is if you're going to be cold and sweating, that's going to be a big no-no, so monitor that. But again, it depends on, let me kind of go back to something that Bill brought up. It depends on what you think you might be doing. I mean, are you, in a, let's just say some kind of event scenario or something. Are you going to get to go back in your house at night?
Right.
That could
Right.
be, that may not be possible. Or maybe you're just going to be out defending your property, your couple acres that you got. Okay. You're out at night. It's 30 degrees at night, 20 degrees at night. Go up to Idaho where I am. Minus
30
20,
below,
minus
yeah.
20. It's even just to defend your own little spot, right? If you're not doing anything else. So I think that was a little thought that I had on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing, if you're going to be out in the field, are you, what are you going to be doing? The gear this gear is the winter gear is to save your bacon, right? Like it's going to be all you have. Watch any video on what's happening, and there's 1,000 of these videos in Eastern Europe. It doesn't matter what, right or wrong, whatever, but in Eastern Europe, watch that. Those guys, you're just out there, okay? You're in a trench full of water up to your ankles. It's 30 degrees, 20 degrees. There's no going back in and warming up. So whatever you got is the gear, the sustainment gear. Yeah.
Right.
So it's a serious thing. And again, go back to just being here in the Sierras. Go up to where I am in Idaho, the Western Rocky. You will die there.
I know it's just a couple minute conversation, talking here with Morgan about training in winter, and that key word being training. You have to get out and train, right? Don't stop just because you're having a good day, and don't wait for a bad day before you start training. The time is now.
Yeah.
Morgan he's when I tell you that he is a freaking patriot, what I mean to tell you is that he's a patriot, and he's one of the few guys that I know who is such a supporter of the entire community that's out there. Like, he's dealing with homestead communities out in Kentucky, right? And he's dealing with guys out here. Of course, he supports the Sear Challenge event here, and so many others up in Alaska and just all over the place. All he wants to do is fucking make sure that people are ready with what they need, right?
Yeah, I'm just
and
here for the
connect
guy.
with good dudes.
Yeah, so when I started Winter Warfare, just so the guys know out there, this wasn't about selling guys more stuff. It's just it's an opportunity, just like anything, for those guys who want to be at that level. And I would just say, as me as a citizen soldier, if you will, I took it upon myself to make sure that I have the right gear if needed, because again, if something happens, I've worked in business a long time, and I'll tell you how these supply chains work. If something happens, let's go back to a few elections ago when you couldn't even buy ammo,
Right.
when you couldn't buy a rifle because they were all gone. This gear is the same. It will be gone in 10 minutes. So it's more of about, okay, maybe I should just get it now, as something to think about. And I did want to mention something about what Stoker said on the training. This guy, former Marine, this guy, former Army, first sergeant. This guy did it longer than me. I was former infantry. I just did my little short time and got out, but I learned a lot in there. And one thing that I would mention just to the common guys out there, because I see this a lot. I see a lot of you just common guys out there that are really good, really well prepared. And I think the thing I would mention about that is that even when you have the formal training in the military, the biggest part of that was just doing it, right? And so kudos to a lot of guys out there, because I see a lot of these guys, and I'm in chat groups and all this stuff with different guys. And there's some pretty badass guys that were never in.
Right.
So keep it up. Like, don't sell yourself short. Just to
absolutely.
reiterate what Bill
Right.
said, just get out and do it. Just, get off your buns, get some gear, go test it out, see what works. Yeah, I got a brand new setup here too. I'm just testing this out.
Right.
I need to figure out where all the buttons are.
Right.
What's dangling.
Yeah.
You know,
and then make improvements
even
after
the
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even the dumbest stuff. It's just a matter of just getting out and doing it. So kudos to the guys out there that are.
Yeah, right on, man. Hey, Matt Morgan, I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
In the chit chat, and I appreciate everything you do, man.
You too.
You're a good dude.
No, thank this guy. This guy's a super patriot here.
Hey, team, leave some comments down below about training and about being prepared for the winter. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, you check out winterwarfare.com, and you stay stoked. Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
We know you're out there! Come to my voice!